Yeah, that's probably a good thing. I've had some time to lay pipe into the Oblivion remaster, and I've gotta say, I'm really impressed, but I'm really curious. Like, who made this game? Who built this, and why? What was the purpose in an Oblivion remaster? And how many modders out there are pissing their pants right now? No, Bethesda did serve themselves some brownie points, but I feel like something amazing might be getting overshadowed this year. Let me tell you, I am thoroughly impressed with the visual representation of Cyrodiil in this remaster. It's beautiful. To be clear, Oblivion Remastered is the title that brought intrigue and a reason for me to immerse myself into the Elder Scrolls series. I was never really aware or familiar with the Elder Scrolls outside of what my friends had to say about it, but I wasn't too interested in role-playing games anyways, let alone anything other than FPS titles until I graduated college. The shadow drop of Oblivion Remastered came right at the perfect time for me to not have any time to say no. It was available on Cloud Play, so today it's just that easy to entertain almost anything. What I didn't understand was just how impactful this game was to the community. Jonathan Howardis and Ken Rolston led the success of Oblivion back in 2006, and it's outstanding to think about how well their vision was executed for the technology at the time. Like on an Xbox 360, bro.
I like seeing the faces. Yes.
But now my eyebrow is raised and it won't go down. Why does this game have to operate on a next-gen console at 25 FPS? Well, Virtuous Studios is responsible for this remaster, and I've read that they utilized Unreal Engine 5 for the graphics and used Gamebryo for the physics and combat. So to be fair, the game isn't a remake, it's a remaster of those physical and audible qualities so many love. It's certainly debatable as to whether or not that's really enough to be re-released, but some internal improvements to the gameplay and progression it is for a guy like I. Because of this launch, I'm interested in seeing what else the previous Elder Scrolls have to offer.
How do you do? Yes?
I'll free your shackles. Real shit.
I knew one day someone with unyielding virtue would heed my words.
Virtuous's design philosophy is as stated here to recreate the feeling of a memory. I think they've done that pretty well. Outsourcing to a third party sounds hella dicey, but they're obviously managing to salvage the core elements of Oblivion because modders and folks online are delighted to see the ability to replace some epic coding is still quite intact. Although there's a huge fucking problem here. Many of you are familiar with Skyblivion and things of the sort. How do those creators feel right now? I think that's a valid question because the most important thing about video games to me is how they inspire people to create, share, and innovate more. So wouldn't this shadow drop be overshadowing and reducing the demand for what Skyblivion has to offer? I think sort of, really, because Bethesda doesn't think so, and I'm glad they said it and did this because it's so important. They dropped one of the most expensive bags possible with Starfield and have more than a good game that they need to create. They've got a personal rep to maintain. Giving these modders their props as well as encouraging them to keep going, that gives me a green light. Directional leadership, IMO sauce. On top of that, Skyblivion is supposedly going to be more of a ground up remake, whereas this is a remaster of graphics and audio, really. The shadow drop gives me multiple thoughts. Are they hiding from pre-release criticism? If so, it worked on me. Or was it something else? I don't know, but they really needed a win. And they've got it here, but it doesn't necessarily prove all is good and well. The only thought left is they're mysteriously testing the waters for their future releases. Probably more remasters, hopefully, to see how they could perform under certain
Contexts.
The Elder Scrolls 6 is somewhere in sight, and I'm now interested in experiencing it as much as I can of the previous installments anyways before then. I probably got plenty of time. They started building this remaster in 2021. Their usage of Unreal Engine is only going to get better, so I'm getting a little bit more excited each day about what's next with them. Seems like Tadius might know what he's doing after all, but we're just gonna have to wait and find out here. I want to learn more about why games are made and who created them, what inspired them. It feels like the only way forward sometimes. And to see fans of the community engaging together and building excitement for their own creations made possible by these games is refreshing. Not only that, but Bethesda's support as a corporation to the little guy gives me a lot of faith. We all need some of that shit. So thanks Bethesda and Virtuous for pulling this one out your back pocket. You're not the only ones that needed this. Thanks guys, stick around for more Doom and Gloom.